Hi there, kiddos. Today I am coming at you with this week's story. It's called Hold the Flag High. So, hopefully, you are on page 208 in your Reading Street book. That is the first page. It's got our title on it and it shows our genre, which this week it's literary nonfiction. That's when we hear the story of a true event and but where it's told in a way that seems more like a story. This is really great for social studies material because most history is really exciting. So let's check out what happens in this story. And I think you're going to recognize a lot of things because of your Civil War background knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead and start on 210 at the top. When the American Civil War broke out in 1861, the North and the South had been quarreling for decades over the future direction of the country. The Southern states wanted to create a new nation, a confederacy independent of the United States. The federal government sought to put down the rebellion and restore the country as one union. After the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves in January 1863, African American soldiers joined the Union Army in the fight to end slavery. The Battle of Fort Wagner in July 1863 was one of the first occasions when Black troops were sent into combat. The only thing scarier than a battle is the night before a battle. When soldiers swapped stories and took out pictures of their sweethearts and children, Sergeant William H. Kearny strolled among the campfires. A homesick private played his harmonica sweet and low. Kearny draped a blanket around the shoulders of Company C's drummer boy, a young slave who had run off from his master to join the fight. Kearny assured him, "Tomorrow's going to be a big day for us, Ned. You'll be drumming us to glory." Kearny was one of the few Black officers in the Massachusetts 54th, a new African American regiment formed in the spring of 1863. Kearny's men took pride in the shiny brass buttons on their uniforms and new rifles on their shoulders. Just a few weeks before, they had paraded through the streets of Boston. Ladies had waved handkerchiefs, and all had shouted hurrahs and farewells. Then the 54th Regiment had set sail to fight in far-off South Carolina. Once they arrived, the soldiers set up camp south of Charleston Bay. Their first battle would come tomorrow. This was the day they had all been waiting for, the soldiers told themselves as they headed off to sleep. Now we're on page 212. Kearny kicked out the fire. An owl hooted in the distance. Ned, the drummer boy, wondered if it really was an owl. Maybe it was the signal of a Confederate spy. "Sarge, I don't know what it'll be like when the Rebs start shooting. I'm feeling scared and he stuttered, "and what if I get lost?" "Son, you just play that drum and remember what we're fighting for. Old Glory will lead the way." "Old Glory?" Ned asked. "Sure, son. Keep your eyes on the flag," said Kearny. "Like hundreds before us and thousands after, just follow those stars and stripes and you can't go wrong." "I can't go wrong," Ned murmured as Kearny tucked him into his bedroll. Next page, 213. Then the sergeant said a little prayer, hoping it would be true. Long before the sun rose, the men of 54th awoke to prepare for the battle. They checked and rechecked their rifles, making sure the flints were dry and the bayonets sharp and shined. Ned worked hard, filling canteens with water. After a breakfast of hardtack and coffee, each soldier had his name pinned onto the back of his uniform. This way, soldiers who did not survive the battle could be identified. Soldiers who could write helped those who couldn't. Kearny tipped his hat at the color bearer. He was the soldier who carried the regiment's flag into battle on a short flagpole called a staff. "We're all counting on you, brother." The wind whipped the banner, held aloft on its staff, back and forth, then again, back and forth. Soldiers bristled with anticipation. Ned could see their commanding officer, Robert Gould Shaw, approaching on horseback. As he galloped up, spurs gleaming on his heels and a fringed silk sash across his chest, the colonel seemed to own the day. But when Shaw dismounted, Ned noticed that his pale face was nearly as white as a stallion. Ned wondered, could he be scared too? Maybe Shaw was a bit afraid. He had already been wounded in battle once, but his speech to his troops betrayed no fears. Shaw fired up his men for battle. The 54th had been picked to lead the charge against Fort Wagner, the Confederate outpost guarding Charleston. Chests swollen with pride, these soldiers could hardly wait. They would gladly follow Shaw to the ends of the earth, eager to prove their courage under fire. All right, you'll have to wait to hear about the rest of the battle until tomorrow. But for today, make sure you have opened your Kami link so that you can finish those questions. Hopefully you were working on them while we were reading together. I can't wait to read them. I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye now.